Hi everybody, welcome to Jump In and Dive with me. I'm Marissa and I'm a PADI Master Scuba Diver. Today is part 2 and I'm going to be talking about a dive I did on the Keystorm, which is in Alexandria Bay, New York. This is where I experienced claustrophobia for the first time. I was able to overcome it and I did continue my dive and I will tell you how I did it. Let's dive on in. Oh geez. Last year in 2024 was the year that I became a PADI Master Scuba Diver. It means that I completed open water certification, advanced open water certification, rescue diver certification, 5 specialties, and a minimum of 50 dives. It's the top level of recreational diving with PADI before you get into the professional portion of it and becoming an instructor if you choose to do that. With my deep dive specialty, I'm able to dive up to the maximum of 130 feet. And it was in Alex Bay where I completed my deep dive specialty. I have visuals today. You're welcome. They're not that great, but it'll do for now. Okay, so I completed my specialty on the Keystorm Shipwreck, and I dove this wreck 2 days in a row. The first day I dove it was Carrie, myself, and an instructor who I originally got certified with my open water back in 2021. Here's visual number 1. So this, such a dork. So this is how it's laid out on the riverbed. So here's our boat, sailboat. Wasn't really a sailboat though. And there's the buoy and the mooring line, and it goes down to the bow. So we jump in and we go down to the bow, and it's laid out on its side. So it's on its starboard side, which is its right side. And it's on a hill, kind of like this. And so up here is the bow, which is about 30, 40 feet, and the back of the ship is the stern, which is about 115 to 120 feet. So the first day on the dive, it went great. Everything was fine. I broke 100 feet for the first time, and I was super proud of myself. And the first day, we went down this side of the ship. So we saw the deck, we saw the pilot house, we saw all the cargo holds, and we were kind of hanging out around here. And he didn't want to go down any deeper because it was not the greatest visibility. And Carrie and myself, this was our dive for the deep dive specialty. And I don't think he wanted to risk it. So we just kind of stayed by the cargo holds and then we worked our way back up. But that was great. Day 1 went great. And we're going deeper and deeper, and I'm looking at my dive computer and I see, 90 feet, 95, 96, 97, and I hit 100 feet. All this adrenaline shoots through me. All I'm thinking is, oh my gosh, triple digits. I had all these emotions and feelings that were hitting me all at once, 100 feet underwater, and it was just the coolest feeling. I really had no words to describe it, and I was very proud of myself. So we finished the dive, we did our safety stop, and we got back up on the boat. Everything went fine. All good feelings, no anxiety, nothing like that. The next day is when I had the claustrophobic feeling. So the next day it was me, Carrie, and Tim. And this dive was to see how the effects of gas narcosis had on us. Gas narcosis is a condition that divers get when they breathe in certain gases at high pressure. So what happens is, in a regular tank of air, there is 79% nitrogen and there's 21% oxygen. So with gas narcosis, it's caused by the nitrogen in the tank dissolving into the brain under pressure, which leads to similar effects of being buzzed, alcohol intoxication. Jack is my favorite. So imagine having a few. Oh my gosh. Imagine having a few drinks and you start to feel buzzed and you start to feel, kind of euphoric, and this can also lead to poor judgment or slower reaction times. Being this deep underwater and gas narcosis hitting you, and you have that slower reaction time and you have that poor judgment, it can possibly lead to poor decision making or forgetting to check your dive computer, forgetting to check your air in your tank, because you have to constantly be monitoring your air, your dive computer, and your NDL, which is the no decompression limit. So there was a test that we had to do on this dive. And it was, that toddler toy with the boxes and the cutout shapes, like this, the star, the moon, the triangle, the square. So we had to do that on the boat before we jumped in the water, and Tim timed us. And then we had to do the same test 100 feet underwater. I wasn't nervous with this dive at all. Everything was good. I was excited. All I kept thinking of, I want to do it again. I can't wait to get in the water. No doubts, no bad feelings, nothing. So this time we go down to a different area on the ship than I had dove the day before. So instead of going on this side, we go down and we go on the other side of the ship, which is the hull of the ship, the bottom of the ship. Here's my other visual. Don't hate. Okay. So pretend you're going down, and here's the bow. And the day before, we went on this side. We saw the pilot house, the deck, and this day we went down here by the hull. We went down and we did our test. Dry mouth. Making videos makes me so nervous. So we're going down, and I see the hull on my left side, and I see how big it is. We keep going down, everything's going good, and then all of a sudden it was, and I don't recall exactly, but it was somewhere between 50 and 70 feet where I was getting this claustrophobic feeling. And I have never experienced this in my life, but it came on pretty fast. I looked up and I saw the bottom of the ship, and all I saw was black, like a black wall, and it was black going this way. The hull itself couldn't have been that far away from me, maybe like 20, 25 feet, I'm just guessing, but it felt like it was right here. And it felt like it was getting closer and closer and closer. And you don't realize how big the bottom of a ship is, because above the water, all you see is what you see above the water. But the bottom of the ship is gigantic, and this ship in particular is 250 feet in length. So the hull is really, really, really big. My heart starts racing, and I start getting that shallow, rapid breathing. So I was in front of Carrie a little bit. We were kind of next to each other. Tim was in front of us, and we were going down. And I stop, and I go upright. I get my dive light out to get their attention, because I'm thinking there's no way I'm doing this again. This is after the Vickery, obviously. And I'm thinking there's no way this is happening again. I'm turning my dive light on and off to get their attention, because at this point, Carrie's now in front of me, and Tim's even more in front of me. And so Carrie turns around first, and then a few seconds later, Tim notices, and he turns around and comes up to me. The second Tim saw me, he knew exactly what was happening. With panic, when you're underwater, your eyes go from like a normal size to like big bug eyes. Big bug eyes. At this point, I have my rescue diver certification. But it's so crazy because you were trained to know what to do in these kind of situations. But when it's happening to you, it seems like all of that goes out the window at first when the fear starts to take over. It's at this point that you have to slow down, because if you don't, things can go very wrong. You can't just say, forget this, and break for the surface, because then you're at high risk for decompression sickness. So Tim came over to me, and I started doing this. Which means take long, deep breaths, just breathe. And he started doing it too, because he knows something's going on with me. And as soon as the claustrophobia came on, the sooner it left. I took a few long, deep breaths, and it went away completely, and I was able to continue my dive. But we broke 100 feet again. I was able to do the test that I had to do with the shapes in the box, and I was having a great time. I looked at the hull, and I saw it, and I remember thinking to myself, what was that? Why did I just freak out like that? So we did the test, we came up, did our safety stop, popped our head above water, and we got back on the boat. We talked about what happened, and he said he was proud of me for remembering what I had to do in that situation, which made me feel really good, because I was really proud of myself, but I also had a really good instructor, which is Tim. So I hope you liked the episode, and next week I'll be talking about a few tips that you can do to prevent anxiety and how to overcome it at depth. I'll see you soon. Bye.